know they're out there, don't you?
Where do you come from?
Another galaxy.
You know they're out there. You know they're out there. You know they're out there, don't you?
Where do you come from?
Another galaxy.
You know they're out there. You know they're out there. You know they're out there, don't you?
Another galaxy.
You know they're out there. You know they're out there. You know they're out there, don't you?
Where do you come from?
Another galaxy.
You know they're out there. You know they're out there. You know they're out there, don't you?
Where do you come from?
Another galaxy.
You know they're out there. You know they're out there. know they're out there, don't you?
Where do you come from?
Another galaxy.
You know they're out there. You know they're out there. You know they're out there, don't you?
Where do you come from?
Another galaxy.
You know they're out there. You know they're out there. You know they're out there, don't you? know they're out there, don't you?
Where do you come from?
Another galaxy.
You know they're out there. You know they're out there. You know they're out there, don't you?
Where do you come from?
Another galaxy.
You know they're out there. You know they're out there. You know they're out there, don't you?
Where do you come from?
Another galaxy.
You know they're out there. You know they're out there. You know they're out there, don't you?
Where do you come from?
Another galaxy.
You know they're out there. You know they're out there. You know they're out there, don't you? know they're out there, don't you?
Where do you come from?
Another galaxy.
You know they're out there. You know they're out there. You know they're out there, don't you?
Where do you come from?
Another galaxy.
You know they're out there. You know they're out there. You know they're out there, don't you?
Where do you come from?
Another galaxy.
You know they're out there. You know they're out there. You know they're out there, don't you?
Where do you come from?
Another galaxy.
You know they're out there. You know they're out there. You know they're out there, don't you?
Where do you come from?
Another galaxy.
You know they're out there. You know they're out there. know they're out there, don't you?
Where do you come from?
Another galaxy.
You know they're out there. You know they're out there. You know they're out there, don't you?
Bonjour et bienvenue au Cas de SIO. Préparez-vous vos instructions en français? Do you prefer instructions in English?
English, please.
Each team has 20 minutes to present its cases to the judge. The time is indicated on the timer as a countdown. In case of a problem, I will indicate the remaining time with posters. I'll indicate the time with the posters anyway. If you do not end your presentation after 20 minutes, it will be stopped to move on to the period of questions. A period of questions of a maximum duration of 5 minutes is assigned to the jury at the end of the presentation. I would like to remind the jury that it is mandatory to ask at least one question during this period. Please note that you cannot reveal the name or city of your university, as you may be disqualified. I would like to ask the public to please turn off their cell phones. I will now invite the judges to introduce themselves. Je vais maintenant laisser les juges se présenter, et ensuite vous pourrez débuter votre présentation. And afterwards, you may begin your presentation.
Hi, I'm Vincent, co-founder of Surmeasure.
My name is Eric. I'm the IT director at Surmeasure.
And I'm Camille Barry. I'm the marketing director at Surmeasure.
Lee Rochette, vice-président du service d'infrastructure, Centre de services partagés du Québec.
You may now begin your presentation.
Since its inception in 2010, Surmeasure has seen unprecedented growth in the retail scene of customized suits. Beginning in Canada, they have expanded into the United States and the rest of Canada with 14 retail stores. However, in the ever-changing technological landscape, it's important for companies to recognize how they can leverage information systems to better understand their customers and the offerings that they are giving their customers. Today, we are beyond excited to offer you a tailored solution to your company. Hello, my name is Josh Powers. This is David Gallo and Jean Matin. We are Bolt Consulting. At Bolt Consulting, we're built on lasting trust. which we ensure through a 5-step comprehensive plan. Diving into our mandate, we will then go over our analysis and our strategy, finishing up with our implementation and financial plan. I will now pass it off to David Gallo, who will go over the current situation and our mandate.
Thanks, Josh. So the first step when approaching any new business case is to have a solid understanding of the primary problem that the business is facing and the secondary problems that come along with it. At SIO, it's quite clear. Although they've seen extremely good success and growth in the past years, they're having some issues with client retention and optimization of the products and services that they're offering their customers in order to ensure that they keep coming back to SIO. There are a number of satellite problems that come alongside this as well. First, we're seeing limited engagement after the 40-day period from the initial purchase. Secondly, seasonal purchasing trends, which happen throughout the entire fashion industry, but are especially important with companies like SIO. And finally, value is not necessarily being communicated to the customers as effectively as it potentially could be. Therefore, we've created a mandate designed to counteract these problems and bring SIO to the global forefront of the custom suit area. We need to develop a new technological infrastructure and processes to improve client retention by offering them those tailored products and services and clearly communicating a value proposition to these customers that they can't refuse. We've developed 3 key KPIs to measure the success of this overall transformation. First, increasing customer purchases by 20% within that 40-day period before they lose retention. This can be measured by existing sales methodologies and tracking of customer data. Secondly, improving customer satisfaction by 30%. Quite simply, this is done through customer surveys. SIO is already leveraging these surveys to great benefits, so it's important to continue capitalizing on this to understand exactly how well the customers feel they're being served. And finally, improving customer retention by 20%. It was written in the case itself. Customer retention is a critical part of the fashion market. Therefore, measuring a number of customers that come back through our existing methodologies and ensuring that they're continuing to return to SIO offerings is critical to ensuring their ongoing success. I'd like to now hand it off to Jean-Martin and Josh, who will go over an analysis of the company.
Great, thank you, David. So where do we see SIO into the future? For a gap analysis, we focus on 4 general areas that needs to be improved, but the one we want to put emphasis on is the first one, and that is the fact that SIO currently has a highly fragmented back-end technology infrastructure. And into the future, we want to see SIO move towards more of an integrated and consolidated infrastructure and use that as a foundation for their sales analytics and also the customer relation program. And we are confident that this new model will provide all of the tools to your sales team to provide a more tailored and more customized customer experience to both your in-store and online customers.
Similarly, we have created a SWOT analysis. I will begin by introducing its 4 main aspects, beginning on what is working well. Significantly, I want to point out the growth since 2010. Beginning in Quebec City, you have had the ability to expand not only into the United States, but all the way to the west coast of Canada with 14 retail stores. Therefore, you understand your customer base, and it's a product that is very well perceived by the market. Similar, there are numerous opportunities to collect customer data that you have, from the in-store data, Wi-Fi that you provide, to understanding the customers in your customer surveys. You collect a lot of data from your customers. However, these do introduce some areas for improvement. Although there are a lot of SaaS opportunities that you have, capitalizing on the data that you do have right now is something that could see improvement. Through understanding what buying trends are associated with what kinds of people will allow you to capitalize on those individuals that are not only buying more, but introducing similar products to them that they would be more likely to buy. From here, we move into some external things to watch out for, specifically market saturation. With the growth of 2 other companies in this direct area, such as Suit Supply, it's important to be able to differentiate yourself in the market so that you do not get caught up and you're still able to leverage new customers. A way that we introduce this will be discussed in the strategy. However, there are plenty of opportunities that we see for your company, mainly leveraging new sales channels and enhancing the user experience. Through enhancing the user experience, we project that you will still be able to stay in the same area of the luxurious products that you provide, but not going over into certain areas that are way too luxurious that may be considered on the same route of Harry Rosen, but fit into your current state.
This brings us forward to our Eureka moment, which we got after having analyzed all the different elements of that SWOT analysis. SIO needs to leverage that rich data that it collects from its customers through a new technology solution that can aggregate this data and analyze it in order to develop exactly the perfect tailored options to its customers to ensure exactly the customers are getting what they want and what they ask for. This will ensure that we are able to deliver the maximal value to the customers and ensure that they're retained and come back to SIO in the future. How exactly can this be accomplished? We've developed a 3-step strategy that goes over this entire analysis in order to drive customers back to SIO. First, overhauling the back end of SIO's technology landscape by implementing a new CRM. Secondly, implementing AI-based ranking system, and this is really going to be used to tailor the products and services suggested for new and existing customers. And finally, customizing the user experience by leveraging that rich data that's already collected even better. I'll jump right into the first section. As you can see, we've developed 2 options here to consider. The first option is by simply taking the entire software stack available at SIO and moving it to a single consolidated ERP and CRM platform. A number of larger service vendors are able to provide this service, such as SAP with their S/4HANA stack or Oracle ERP. The next option, however, is to move with a similar approach, but only using specific elements from the current technology stack and moving those specific elements into our CRM, but keeping a lot of the operational work separate with the existing systems. We believe that option 2 is by far the better option. This is for a number of key reasons. First, reduce capital expenditures. Moving towards a brand new system and replacing all the legacy systems comes with a high initial cost. Secondly, faster adoption time. Because you're not replacing all the systems that you have in your back end, it's faster to simply keep what you already have and replace those few that are existing. Next, reduce risk. By transferring a lot of data from legacy systems to a new system, there's a lot of inherent risk that comes with that. Potential data quality loss, potential data migration issues, of course the scope and the budget that comes with such an enormous project. Next, familiarity with customers and employees of the existing systems. By retaining many of the existing systems currently used at SIO, the employees will feel already confident and able to use the new systems without having to relearn many of the processes that they've been working with in the past many years. Next, minimal data migration is required if you're using the existing systems mostly. And finally, reduce configuration. A new system starting from scratch would require a significant amount of investment into tailoring the system to SIO's needs, which is not necessary considering that many of the fragmented systems already meet SIO's requirements, and simply grouping together the ones that potentially could be grouped together in a CRM is a much better option. But the question remains, what exactly should be kept from the legacy systems and what exactly should be moved into the CRM? Quite clearly, it makes more sense for the CRM to handle all the things that the CRM is best at, which is customer information and communicating with customers. The operational backend should remain still with the existing legacy systems. Intercom is a great tool used on your website to communicate with customers, which isn't always offered in CRMs because there's never that perfect integration with the website. Considering this is already integrated with your website, it makes sense to continue using. Intercom does offer a number of integration components with many popular CRMs, however, so it's not like these 2 systems would be completely separate. G Suite handles most of the operational backend for your company, and it doesn't make sense to rip this all out and implement a new CRM, so G Suite can be continued to be used. And finally, Cisco Meraki can't exactly be replaced by a CRM or an ERP for that matter, so it simply makes more sense to continue hosting your Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi services through this company. Twilio, Portfolio, Typeform, MailChimp, and Mandrill can all be replaced by the new CRM system, which can handle all this information. And there are a number of options out there. Mid-tier CRM systems like Microsoft Dynamics 365 or similar offerings can all handle this rich information in a CRM platform. Moving forward to the second part of our strategy, we move on to the AI-based ranking system that we mentioned. So having developed this comprehensive CRM backend and having access to all this data in one consolidated place, a single source of truth, means that we can now leverage new tools in order to analyze the information that's in there and deliver the best possible tailored experience to your customers. So what the AI tool will do is it will be able to analyze that rich customer information and understand exactly what the trends certain consumers will want to buy based on that information. For example, it can analyze previous purchases from customers, the customer demographic, the interests and styles of that customer, buying motivations, what encourages customers to buy from SIO Missouri, and price sensitivity, as well as available products and services, because this system will be integrated with the existing asset management and retail management products used at SIO Missouri. And what this means is that it's not a single or group of employees that have to go through each employee's file and understand exactly what's best for that customer. The AI-based solution will be able to do exactly that and suggest the best possible items to guarantee a new sale from an existing customer and improve customer retention. So tailored suggestions for products or services unique to the specific client can be made. And finally, we move on to customizing the user experience and ensuring that they're receiving that full tailored experience, which goes hand in hand with that AI tool that we just mentioned. Here, we want to see in-store and onboarding email. This is the first step of the customer journey map that you described in your case. So immediately when the customer enters the store, already data should be being collected about what the customer enjoys purchasing, the customer's demographic, and similar information. And although information is currently being gathered, even more rich data can be gathered because the AI tool will be able to analyze this data much better than a person potentially could. The next step is the customer experience survey. So having guaranteed that purchase, having the purchase being made, it's now important to ensure that the customer enjoyed their purchase and understand exactly what could be improved in the future. So this two-way communication channel can be incorporated with the CRM so that the customer's feedback can be attached to their personal file so that if an employee potentially opens up the customer's file in the future, they can understand exactly what the customer may have not liked or may have really liked in their past shopping experience. Finally, a follow-up email within 40 days. And this is a critical step that may or may not be fully adopted by SIO Missouri right now. As you mentioned, getting that initial purchase is critical, but getting the follow-up purchase is even more important to ensure they come back to SIO Missouri. As such, we believe it's important to send that follow-up email suggesting new potential products or services to buy from SIO Missouri based on that AI tool that can suggest those. And finally, leveraging a loyalty program. So we believe that it's important that not only draw customers into SIO Missouri, but to keep them coming back. And in order to do so, it's best to tailor a loyalty program specific to them. Customers who care a lot about cost can have a loyalty program that saves them potentially 5 or 10% on the next item. Customers who care about having an item quickly, but could potentially have a loyalty program that encourages them to come in fast to buy a product that may be selling quickly or may be sold out soon. This loyalty program specific to each customer can again leverage that information coming from the AI and the information stored within the CRM to understand exactly what each customer is looking for in the store and provide that service to them through a loyalty program.
Great, so for our implementation, we're looking at a 2-year program broken down in 3 different phases. In the short term, we broke down each activities with the actors. And the most critical one will be to make sure that we get the buy-in from leadership from the start, making sure that we have their support and as well as their guidance. Team creation, making sure that everyone has their key roles and responsibilities throughout the project will be very essential for a successful CRM project. And also communication. The reason why many information transformation fails is because of the lack of transformation. So we want to make sure that we have the key communication channels in place and the ability to report on a regular basis to leadership to provide status on the project. In the medium term, we'll focus mainly on the execution and iteratively deploying the CRM modules. At the same time, gathering feedback from leadership, making sure that the modules are installed and set up the way as it was initially be. As I said initially, we will be reporting on a bi-weekly basis to the Director of IT and making sure that the direction is correct. And if there's any potential changes that needs to be made, we make sure that we address them immediately. And we also start to begin looking at the different AI solutions that are available into the market and start comparing them and see what is the best solution for SIO. The last step for the medium term will be before going live for the full CRM project, we do want to conduct a 3-month pilot program to see how is the CRM in fact in business processes and see how well users are using the tool in the right way, if there's any last minute adjustment that needs to be made before we go live. And then transitioning into the long term, we will be starting revamping the customer loyalty program, which will be mostly carried by the sales teams and the head of marketing. We will fully deploy the CRM solution to all of the different stores across North America and follow the same approach that we used during the CRM project for the AI ranking solution. And last but not least, it's always good to evaluate store performance based on the recommendation that we've provided and see what went wrong, and this could be an extremely good learning experience for Silverzone for future technology projects.
Now, very importantly, that financials. We have developed 3 key financial projects that we would like to cover with you, beginning with the triple bottom line. Firstly, how this is going to affect your social and ethological bottom line. Mainly, it's going to be the idea that data security for your customers is going to be very well protected. Instead of having to secure data in 7 or 8 different platforms, we'll be able to centralize that data in one CRM area, which will be able to then be more protected, protecting your customers' data in an age where companies such as Facebook or Google lose a lot of their customer satisfaction by losing their customers' data. Secondly, economic. Through understanding your customers, you'll be able to increase retention of your customers, and also through the AI-based ranking system, provide similar products that your customers are looking for. Lastly, as an environmental aspect, a lot of the clothes that you're going to be providing your customers now are going to be clothes that they're looking for more, and so they're less likely to wear them 3 or 4 times and then not wear them again and allow that to go to waste, but it'll be worn a lot more often. Then, moving on to our risks and mitigations, I want to point out the key mitigation of scope and budget creep, as this is going to be an extremely expensive project. Working with a new CRM solution, it's very important to make sure that we don't lose sight of how long this project's going to take and how much it's going to cost. In order to mitigate this, we extremely propose that you take on weekly reporting of what is happening and what has already been accomplished, and from there, moving into ideas such as plans and how KPIs are currently being met. The other ones I can come back later if you would like. And finally, moving on to the cost and profit drivers. This is extremely important. Mainly, the new CRM system is going to have a new licensing fee. This can range from $10 to $40, depending if you're looking for a small range to a mid-range type of CRM. Similarly, the new AI solution is going to be an extremely important part of your company, as it will help predict what customers are going to be looking for. As we move into training and ongoing support, we want to make sure that your staff know how to use the systems that are being used, and a key training platform will be extremely important. The ongoing SaaS products and new customer engagement will also be a cost factor that we suggest that you consider when the costs come about. Finally, going over the profit drivers, there's 3 main profit drivers that I'm going to go over. First is new customers in new areas. So as you expand into the United States, like Chicago, these are going to be new customers, and the engagement of these customers is going to be extremely important. Also, new customers in current areas. So the new customers that you acquire in areas such as Quebec City and Toronto and Ottawa, which were some of your first mover retail stores. And lastly, the retention of your customers. The retention of your customers is extremely important, and that's going to be a huge growth for your profits. As you can see, we expect to hit all of the KPIs that we just said through implementing the AI solution and increasing customer engagement, through segmenting Sur-Mesure outside of its current niche, but providing it as a much more customized brand. Sur-Mesure will be able to provide its customers a much more better experience. So, thank you very much for your time, and we're excited to see how our targeted solution fits you.
We're now going to proceed to the question part.
How you see the studio Do you see it as a CRM, or do you see it as another one that we have to merge on the platform?
Can you repeat the question, sorry?
You know about the studios or our own
Yeah.
platform that we have at the moment?
For sure.
You see that we have to integrate it in the new CRM,
Mhm.
or it has to keep it on?
So the way that we planned about this is because that has a lot of the customer information, it would make sense to transmit that customer information from Studio to the new CRM. So the CRM will hold the brunt of the information, it will be that central database, and then Studio will be able to feed information into that CRM or pull information from it as it requires in order to tailor the suit design to the specific customer that's using it and provide that full tailored experience.
Are you able to provide us like a budget range for that kind of project? Like a sort of?
Yeah. So a lot of the costs are going to be offset from the new CRM system being implemented to the old SaaS systems that are getting rid of, and it depends on what you're looking for along with the scalability. As we relate back to the mandate of increasing customer retention, we expect it to be a bit higher in the $30 per range of your customers, and then scaling that up for as many customers as you plan on bringing in. However, I will allow David to extrapolate a little more on that when it comes into the strategy.
So speaking more specifically about the technology component, so CRMs and AI solutions come with a variety of different options available to your company. And that's why in the implementation we hit on conducting that detailed costing exercise and conducting that vendor market scan to understand whether it's an SAP full-fledged CRM that you're looking for, or maybe a Business One smaller CRM. So the range really depends on the number of users that are going to be using the system and the price range. So with a price range of potentially $10 to $30 per user, that is a pretty big range. So a large company implementing a high-end CRM solution could expect costs of $500,000 to $600,000, but a more budget-friendly CRM that leverages more of your existing technologies can be as low as $50,000 to $60,000. So there is a broad range there, and it really comes down to how much are you willing to sacrifice when adopting this new system, and how much investment is available to implement in this new system in order to deliver that full tailored experience.
On page 19, you put a couple of examples of, I think they were examples of what the AI system could look at to try to suggest item to the client. Are those examples, or is that the elements you think we should try to look for correlations?
Both, in a sense, if I understand your question correctly. So it's not an exhaustive list, of course, because of all the information you do collect from your employees, from your customers, sorry. The AI solution could definitely look at all these different factors, but these are the 6 buckets we believe are potentially the most critical. So a lot of this information is already collected from your customers. But this AI solution will, for instance, through natural language processing, be able to understand better if a customer explains on a survey about an interest that they have. Instead of having an employee, correlate that to a specific quantitative element, it can be interpreted by the AI solution and mapped towards a specific product or service. So yes, we believe these 6 elements are critical to understand the correlations between them in order to suggest potential products or services, and they also do incorporate the metrics that we're going to be measuring from customers. But of course, it's not exhaustive. There are a number of other data points that you mentioned in your case that you do collect, and these are important to continue as well.
And these suggestions, on what channels would we broadcast this? Would it be email, SMS, phone calls? It's not mentioned in your, what would we do with the suggestion?
Yeah, so to confirm, you're asking where we would be able to collect the data for this information?
No, let's say that let's say that the AI looks at my account and decides that my next suit should be a charcoal suit with I don't know, a gray pen. How would the customer, how would the client receive that information?
For sure. So we looked at this in a couple aspects, and unfortunately, just pressed for time, we didn't have the chance to go over it in detail. But basically, the other benefit of a CRM is that it's very mobile. Employees will be able to access it on a mobile device while they're helping customers. So having access to a customer profile in order to suggest suits specifically for them when they come in the store, that's the first element, because that face-to-face interaction is really key.
Okay.
The second is, of course, through the emails that will be sent to customers. So with that CRM solution that can deliver those emails to the customers, and with the CRM solution that already has all that customer information, those personalized emails that you're sending, for instance, the 40-day one that we suggested, and any other regular emails you send to your customers, can be tailored to each specific customer. So it won't be a case necessarily of sending another batch email to all your customers anymore. With the exception of potentially a large sale or something, each customer will receive a specific email catered to them. So the same email trends that you currently do, the same SMS trends that you currently do, the advertising channels will be the same, but the advertisements themselves will be tailored to a
That
specific
concludes
customer.
your time for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.